This EV Rider episode is presented in Spatial 3D. You can watch the regular version of this episode by clicking the link in the description field. This week on EV Rider, I'm about to enter the world of Tesla Supercharging, even though I own a Ford. So I'm on my way over to my neighborhood Wawa, which has a Tesla Supercharger. Like many Ford EV owners, I ordered the company's official NACS to CSS adapter the very first day it was available. And I got a ship date of June, but we're more than halfway through July now, and that adapter has still not arrived. But Lectron reached out to me and asked me if I'd like to go ahead and test their CCS to NACS adapter, which is called the Vortex. I said, sure, why not? Now, some of you may know that they actually had a recall on their adapter, but they were very open about it. They quickly corrected the problem, at least they say they did. It was a latch issue. They tell me all their existing customers have been contacted. Perhaps most importantly about their adapter, it is in UL compliance, but not certified. And here's why. Nobody has certification yet because the final standard process is still underway. So chances are you won't see any official UL certified adapters, even the ones that come from Ford or Rivian. Lectron does tell me that they are going after that certification, and they fully believe that their adapter will indeed be UL certified, which probably will be late in the year. Now, in the meantime, as this is recorded, only 2 brands can officially use Tesla Superchargers outside of Tesla vehicles, and that is Ford and Rivian. The rest of the companies are expected to come online throughout the year and into 2025. CCS is only supported at version 3 and higher superchargers. At the time of this video's recording, there were more than 15,300 upgraded Tesla Superchargers across the US and Canada, according to Ford. Any CCS-enabled EV can use supercharger stations with Magic Docks, which are stations with the CSS adapters built in. So far, those are few and far between. So, for the very first test, we're going to see if this is truly an easy plug-and-play solution for Ford owners. In theory, when I pull up to the Tesla Supercharger, I should be able to just plug in. It should ding my Ford account, and the Tesla Supercharger should go ahead and spool up automatically. It's my very first try, so we're going to go ahead and see together how this plays out. A couple things before I get started here. Charging at a supercharger is going to be a bit different because, of course, superchargers don't have screens, which us CSS users are used to. So there is also a specific procedure that Lectron says to use when setting up for a supercharge. So the first thing you do is go ahead and plug in the adapter to your CSS port. So go ahead and plug that right in. You can see there's a latch. And once you've got that plugged in, you should be ready to go ahead and plug in the NACS supercharger port. So we'll go ahead and grab that. And it should just go ahead and plug right in. But I've got my first problem. I've got to pull up closer. The darn cord isn't going to fit. So I'm going to have to pull up as close as I possibly can to get that darn cord to fit. All right, so let's go ahead and give this another try. Plug it in. Okay, now let's go ahead and get our supercharger port and see if this time it'll reach. This time it'll be no problem. So, there is a latch under here. Latch right under here that you press, and you make sure this is secured. And in the case of the Ford, it's going to show you a blue light to show that there is connection. And what should be happening right now, Ford should be wirelessly communicating with Tesla, and I can see that it's successful because in my case now I have a blinking blue light. So even though I don't have a screen, the Ford tells me that it's successfully charging. So what we're going to do next is see how fast we're charging. Now, since we're off to the races and running, let's talk about peak charging speed. I would expect to see a peak of 164 kilowatts. That's what I usually get under ideal conditions at Electrify America and EV Go stations. My peak at this supercharger, 159. So not quite as good as what you would see at the other two, but certainly acceptable. Now I've already been charging for a bit, so I'm already ramping down. I've probably been charging about 10 minutes, and my speed is ramped down to 110 kilowatts, and I've added 15 kilowatt hours so far, which equates to $8.25 in cost and 44 miles of range. The fact that it busted the rated peak of 150 to me is a win all around. So what I would say right out of the gate is this Tesla Supercharger is doing its job. The adapter is doing its job. The adapter, of course, I'm in full sunlight. Jacksonville is under a heat advisory today, so everything is warm, of course, because we are hovering right now. Let's see, right now we're right around 90 degrees, so everything is going fine. I think for a 90-degree day, hitting 159 is perfectly acceptable. By the way, I pulled in with about 30% of charge. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I've got to let you know that the first Vortex unit I was given did have a defect. It was very hard to disconnect from the Tesla port. I let Lectron know. They quickly shipped a replacement, and the replacement has worked flawlessly. I also want to let you know that Lectron does have a 30-day warranty for exchanges and refunds. So I don't think you need to worry about it, but in the interest of full disclosure, I wanted to make sure to point it out. Getting back to the charging stats, Tesla Model Y owner and fellow YouTuber Keith Powell told me he's not surprised I didn't see my usual peak, since he says the station was splitting its power with other EVs. Had my EV been the only one charging, he believes I likely would have hit my usual peak. Most supercharger stalls are rated at a peak speed of 250 kilowatts. Keith says as long as Tesla and other charging companies keep expanding, he's not worried about non-Tesla owners now having access to superchargers.
Actually, one of the reasons that I bought my car was because of the network. I'm happy that they're letting people on, as long as it doesn't get clogged up and as long as we go ahead and build out this network, not just the Tesla branded network, but I know BP is getting ready to do it, and some other companies are looking at building out the network. As long as we do that, I think it's great. I think everybody should be on it.
In terms of cost, I paid 55 cents per kilowatt to supercharge. Down the road at Electrify America, I would have paid 56 cents per kilowatt. Of course, just like gas, pricing varies across the country, and in some cases, EV prices vary between peak and off-peak hours. I asked Keith if increased competition between the charging companies were to result in a price war, if he'd consider DC fast charging at non-Tesla stations.
The only reason I wouldn't go is because the up and down time. Usually the EV Go charge point, Electrify America and all of those, a lot of times they're down. They're not, the uptime is not as great as these. So I'm gonna go to where I know is more reliable. When they can create uptime and bring price down, yeah, then I would go. I never go to the CCS station, mainly because I like to make certain that I'm charging at the top speed that I want to go. When I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. I can get 250 kilowatts per hour, so I can get out of here. So except for at work, I do use the adapter at work, but it's free.
Back to the Lectron adapter. It seems well built. However, be aware that neither Ford, Rivian, Tesla, or other automakers have sanctioned any aftermarket adapters at this early stage of the Access rollout. By the way, this isn't my first Lectron. I've been using this Lectron Level 2 adapter at Tesla destination chargers for about 5 years or so, and it's held up fine. In case you'd like to take a closer look at the Lectron Vortex adapter, I'll put a link to the product page in the video description and in the post at evrider.tv. Now, for all you non-Tesla owners out there, I'm curious to know what your questions are about the process. If you're a Ford owner, are you going to hang tight until your adapter arrives, or are you maybe going to get something like this sooner? Now, I ordered the first day. For people that ordered weeks or months after the opening day orders, I couldn't begin to speculate how long it's going to take Ford to deliver your adapter to you. And the same holds true, I would assume, of Rivian, which at the time of this recording is the only other officially sanctioned company that Tesla has already finished developing software to integrate with the Rivian and Ford smartphone apps or in-car systems. Lectron provided EV Rider with the Vortex review unit featured in this video, but did not have any editorial input into this video's production, nor did it see an advance copy of the video. A link to EV Rider's editorial policy regarding review units is in the description of this video for anyone that would like to read it. If you found this episode of EV Rider useful, I hope you'll go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to the EV Rider YouTube channel so I can continue to bring you more adventures in EV motoring and maybe even occasionally from Tesla Superchargers. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.